It's very rare I come on here and I'm like, listen, I'm excited to talk today more than usual. We got people still doing the same old two-step, same old moves. Today is one of them episodes you're going to want to watch all 3 parts of this because this is going to be, I'm cooking. I'm going to just let you know right now. So pull on up. If you want some middle-of-the-road stuff, you're not going to get it here today because I'm here with the receipts again. It's your boy G. Bush, and we talking Ochocinco, another primetime player, another borderline Hall of Fame player coming out saying, that boy just looked different. Is he right or wrong? We'll dissect it right here on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G. Bush back again with another episode of the Ultimate Browns. Yeah, I missed y'all in the barbershop. I missed y'all Saturday, but I got some cooked up ready to go for you on this Tuesday afternoon. If you're watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you get all the notifications on here on the Ultimate Browns because it's going to be a crazy summer, and your boy G. Bush is bringing it like no other. Let's get right to this. Let's get right to the situation. We got again Ochocinco on the nightcap is breaking it down. He's saying, listen, G. Bush, listen, Browns community, listen, NFL. I'm talking to people in their locker rooms. I'm talking to dudes. He even name dropped Denzel Award a little bit. He said, listen, dog, he out there spending it different. He out here looking different. He out here throwing it different. I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. And the situation is this. As I'm sitting here breaking this stuff down, as I'm hearing this, I'm just waiting for the chatter to happen. I'm just waiting for people to pull up and say, oh, to the contrary. Because every time it happens, it's inevitable. Every time somebody says Shedeur Sanders looks good, somebody has to minimize it. And that's the point we've been talking about for such a long point in time over here is this. Look, a lot of this wouldn't even be going down like this if there wasn't a situation where every single time that we talked about Shedeur Sanders doing something well, he throws a deep ball, he does something on the field, we got people talk about, well, actually his toe was on the line, it was out of bounds. Every time he does something, he threads the needle, throws the rock, guides is catching the ball, it's, oh, but this. It's always the minimalization of what's happening. And all that does is make people on the other side of the aisle be like, listen, bro, we're not standing for that. We're going to be excited and exuberant, just as you have the right to talk about what's going on that side and you feel how it is. We got an opportunity to talk about the excitement level that we have for Shedeur Sanders. The problem I have is don't sit here and try to make it like I'm some zealot or I'm some fanatic or I didn't drink the Kool-Aid so much that it's just overflowing. And here's the point, and I'm going to read it to you and we'll get to it. But these are the comments that people be talking about. We got a whole spread ready to go here, right? We got a whole spread. We'll let you know. I'm going to talk about this, but later on the show, we're going to also get to this. Why is everyone loving Kenny Pickett's resume? Can we talk about it? Can we talk about the mythical resume that he has that has him in the lead all of a sudden? The mythical resume and the throws that he's made that we haven't seen this camp or in his career. Let's talk about this resume that has him looking like he's the odds-on favorite. I'm confused by it. Maybe you are too. Let's get to this also. This is the first time somebody's going to bring this up. This is going to be the first time somebody's going to bring up. Let's get to the Arch Manning elephant in the room. Yeah. We're going to get to that right now because I'm starting to see people try to put some brakes on it. I'm seeing people pulling the stall tactics out. I'm seeing people move these goalposts. And we see you coming from a mile away. Don't you try. G. Bush going to be right here, and I'm the first to bring this up. Be ready for it. But first, let's get to this. I told you, this is wild to me. Let's bring up the comments. Former NFL wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson added to the budding hype for Sanders on his Nightcap podcast, saying that Sanders looks different for the Browns' other candidates in quarterback competition, which also included Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. Now, let me just tell you this. I've been saying that Joe Flacco looked good. I think Joe Flacco got an arm. Even guys like Zach Jackson been saying Joe Flacco's been balling. But there's also some other things. Zach Jackson also said that Dillon Gabriel looks like there's a 0% chance he's a regular quarterback, or NFL quarterback, and that Shedeur Sanders has by far outlasted, outproduced, and outperformed Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel throughout this offseason. If you don't want to listen from me, you go take it from him. But there's been multiple people who have said that Shedeur Sanders is balling. You could add to the list of former players and former Hall of Fame players, Kurt Warner, Drew Bledsoe, now Chad Ochocinco, Bernie Kosar. Can we keep going? Guys are saying all around the board, this guy looks like he's dope. This guy looks like he's progressing. This guy isn't what we thought he was. Don't just take little OG Bush word for it. Let's talk about everybody else. He said, I talked to cornerback Denzel Ward. Johnson revealed, damn, I shouldn't have said his name. But anyway, I talked to some people and Shedeur looked different. There's a difference when that young bull is out there spinning the football. You hear me? He looks different from the rest of the competition. That's what I heard. Well, of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And this person is too. In the wake of Johnson's comments, ESPN Cleveland, Tony Grossi took Johnson to task on it, saying that Sanders isn't doing anything the rest of the quarterbacks aren't. These are the comments that we be talking about. Like, and the rest of the media, the problem is, y'all, listen, I stand on what I say. If you don't like what I'm talking about, you can come address me personally. You can get in my inboxes, you can get in my DMs, and my comments are always open at all times. If you don't like what I'm saying, there's plenty of people down there. Oh my goodness, G. Bush is pandering. He's acting like a clown. But these are the little small grains of salt people throw in there. Instead of you addressing what Shedeur Sanders has been doing or not doing, you are sitting here saying to yourself, he's not doing anything the rest of the quarterbacks aren't. What kind of, I didn't know that was analysis. Shedeur is doing fine, okay? He's doing fine, okay? There you got me. He said it. I said it. He's doing fine, okay? But this is more of false hysteria that's being created. He's doing fine, but so is Dillon Gabriel. But you don't hear Chad Johnson saying anything about Dillon Gabriel, maybe because he didn't think Dillon Gabriel wasn't looking better than Shedeur Sanders. Why is it that I got to play both sides of the road when I think one person looked better than the other person? And if you notice me, I ain't slandered Dillon Gabriel not one time. I didn't say he didn't look like no quarterback. I said, let's competition roll. Let's put it out where it is. The problem is a lot of people got is this fact that y'all using these first team reps as a carrot. Here you go. Here you go. Here. If you do everything, then we'll get you some first team reps. When you look at the tape, you look at the film on the field, you look at the throws that you're getting, you look at the statistics that you calculated. We didn't calculate them, you wrote them down. When you look at all things being included, you start to see something. Why is Dillon Gabriel throwing an interception? That's fine. He's a rookie. He's entitled to throw interceptions. He's learning too. But why is it he's learning on the job throwing picks, but Shedeur is not getting the same opportunity or the plays? But when he is getting his opportunity, he's doing what he needs to do with it. That's what people are saying. That's all they're saying, bro. When Shedeur's out there, he's doing what he needs to do. He's looking good. The problem with everybody is in this media and everybody, the problem is this. People is afraid to stand on what they stand on. Look, I came into the game with nothing, zero. No subscribers, no nothing. I've been here through how many quarterbacks? I'm 43. I've been doing this on this internet thing since people was in the high school. I'm the first person in the game on the internet. My internet game predates every person in the game. I was the first person on the internet. So don't tell me about pandering. I don't got to pander to nobody. I was here first. Why would I pander to somebody? I've been here through Baker. I'd have been here through Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett. Heck, I was here when Tim Couch got booed. I was here when Kelly Holcomb was doing this thing. I was here when they had Spurgeon win. I was here in '95 when they took the doggone team. You can't tell me about, listen, G. Bush been keeping it real. And the problem is this. I don't gotta, just because you sit on the fence don't mean that you not nice. Like Jay-Z said, just because you don't understand what he, doesn't mean that he's nice. Because you don't understand what he's writing doesn't mean that somehow he's nicer than everybody else. It means just because you say, I'm gonna wait and see on every single topic does not make you better than people. Just because you sit on the fence and say, well, I'm gonna say it's both sidesism, don't mean that you're the smartest dude in the room. That just means you ain't even afraid to stand on what you're standing on. I'll go over here to the left. And the part is that what you guys got to realize is just because if Shedeur Sanders does not perform well, how does that have any bearing on me as an individual? That's what this is sports talk. I came up listening to the greats. And their job was to accurately give you a story, to give you entertainment, to listen to what you were saying, and to motivate the fan base to want to go out and watch your football team. So I think it's kind of weird when you talking about when you got people that cover the football team acting like they don't even want to do it. I'm confused by that. So my thing is when you're saying, I mean, Shedeur's doing fine, okay? What is that? And let me just add this to it. It's going to get more and more difficult to drown out all the former players. It's going to get more and more difficult to ignore what's going on the football field. It's going to get more and more difficult to ignore the touchdowns and his teammates speaking out. This week is Denzel Ward saying he throw the ball different. You think these players don't got no connections in the locker room? Which you saying he didn't talk to Denzel Ward? That's what you saying? More and more. Greg Newsom was last week. Denzel Ward is this week. See, the thing that y'all don't understand is what happens in the locker room is organic. You can't fool people. Game recognized game. You can't fool nobody. You can't talk up nothing. You can't write nothing. You can't write nobody into an existence. Here's this is my problem with stuff. This is my problem, and this is my overall judgment. See, sometimes I be on journalists a lot because I be on them a lot when things like Terrell Owens being a second ballot Hall of Famer pop up. How is Terrell Owens the second greatest receiver ever to put a jersey on statistically? But since he didn't give y'all the interviews, now G. Bush, that's where you get into trouble. Because he was a cancer off the field, because he was difficult, or he did sit-ups in his driveway. Now listen, don't come at me. I didn't say nobody's names. I said this. Journalism as a whole. Y'all got a problem when you start saying, I'm going to put what I want to talk about in between what the facts is. There is no way Terrell Owens is a second ballot Hall of Famer. He is one of the greatest receivers of all time to put that jersey on. Let me tell you this too. I don't care how much you talk about it. Pete Rose is one of the greatest baseball players in the history of the game. Let me keep talking about it. I don't care what y'all say. Barry Bonds had 4, 5, 6, 10 MVPs before he even sniffed a steroid. Let me keep it real with y'all. The problem is we've given people the ability to create narratives based on what they write or what their opinions are, and we make it black and white, and that's just what it is. Well, today in the new day and age, there's independent people who push back on that. Nah, that's not so true. You may got a problem with Terrell Owens. Guess what? It doesn't diminish what he did on the field. You may don't like the fact that Pete Rose gambled on baseball, but it don't matter that he got 4,200 hits. You may don't like the fact that Barry Bonds used steroids in an era where a bunch of people use steroids. But guess what? He's one of the greatest hitters, base stealers, and fielders to ever put that jersey on. My thing is, Shedeur Sanders ain't even in that pantheon. We ain't even got to that yet. The problem we got is, why you mad? Why you mad? If you've seen the Browns struggle for years, not having a quarterback, losing to the Steelers, getting beat by the Ravens, I don't understand it. The indignant nature of everybody talking about why we got to talk about this guy when he has talent, he can play, he ain't did nothing to nobody, he ain't put nobody in jail, but you mad people is excited? Well, look at this, right? This, I'm not getting it. Shedeur is doing fine, okay, but there is more false hysteria that is being created. That sounds like somebody from an opposing team. False hysteria? So Todd McShay, so when you talk about Mel Kiper didn't have him as number one quarterback on the board? So you saying Bernie Kosar don't know what he's talking about. Kurt Warner don't either. Drew Bledsoe don't know either. Chad Johnson, Ochocinco, nah. Shannon Sharp, nah. Joe Thomas, nah. Everybody is false hysteria. And the fact that when you say that, you do know that riles up a large base of people. And it makes them want to push back on every single thing that people say, right? Have you heard me even say, I think Shedeur Sanders is a better football player than Dillon Gabriel, but I still give him the opportunity to go out there and prove me wrong, right? Because that's what the game is about. I haven't even said false hysteria about him. I'm going to question why everybody loves Kenny Pickett, but I don't use the word false hysteria. They're your words, not mine. I don't got no problem with it. But here's what I'm talking about. Here's why that people didn't want to get into the sweepstakes of Shedeur Sanders. It's because it puts pressure on you. It puts a microscope on you. And for a 3-14 team, let me give you a story. There was a situation. It's only one of the things that I never really I don't take pride in this. There was a situation, there was a discrepancy at one of my jobs. And needless to say, I wanted one of my superiors ahead of me, my direct report, didn't take care of it the way it was supposed to be taken care of. I thought it was dismissive, and it involved people getting paid. And I don't play with people's money. So because I didn't get the answer that I wanted there, and I felt people weren't taking it serious, you know what I did? I said, well, if y'all ain't gonna take care of it, this is egregious. I'll go to the number 2 dude in the company. Come on down here. Hey man, let me tell you something. Like, this what happened. My people deserve to get paid. Boom, boom, boom. I was not playing around with them. You know why I wasn't playing around? Because I don't play with people's money. And people work hard for their money. So I didn't only went 2 steps. I went over that. I went to the vice president and said, listen, here's what's gonna happen. You take the money out of my check. I don't care if I got to pay it back. But these folks can't go without their money. And one of my, and I'm a really good dude. He was over our department. He said, I understand, G. Bush, that you was upset. And I understand that you felt like, and you had a right to do what you did, right? But listen, big dog, why didn't you come to me? I'm not saying I'm like Saudi or nothing, but what happens is when you go up top, now it's shining a whole flashlight on the department, for better or worse. Yeah, you got it taken care of, but now they're looking around like, ooh, what's going on in that department? Do we need to be looking around? Do we need to be auditing? Do we need to be moving? And I never thought of it like that. And I apologize to him specifically because I understand the chain of command, right? And I understood what he's saying, the bigger picture. He's saying, yeah, it's that right now, but you got pressure on all of us. Everybody is looking at us. The president, the shareholders, the board of directors, everybody watching. When you draft Shedeur Sanders, you're going to talk about them reps in the middle of June. When you draft Shedeur Sanders, every other professional quarterback, every other old school player that played in the game, every single beat reporter, every single news outlet is leading with that, and they watching you. What reps? How many plays is he getting? What did you say on the microphone? And when you bring that spotlight and when you bring that to people's front door, nobody wants the health department being at their restaurant. Nobody wants child protective custody coming to their front door. Nobody don't want the FBI pulling up saying, I had an inquiry. Nobody wants to get the IRS into audits. Nobody don't want that. Because even if you is acting above board, there's a chance they might put you somewhere where you didn't want to be. It's a chance if the IRS dig a little bit too much, they might find something. Nobody wants that, especially for a team that's not competing. So that is why Chad Ochocinco is, when we talked about why he thinks that Shedeur Sanders is different. He is different because nobody else gets that level of attention. Nobody else is going to have you and hold your feet to the fire and watch these preseason games and watch these reps and talk about his throws. Man, I ain't heard nothing from Jackson Dart or Tyler Shuck. I ain't heard nothing. I ain't heard no other quarterback noise from nowhere else. They running this on Fox, ESPN, and everywhere. You got people that don't even want to touch it. We ain't talking about Shedeur Sanders today. Local dudes, internet dudes. I ain't touching Shedeur Sanders today. You know why? I say something crazy. They coming. Just like Prime said, oh, we coming. They got the Louis luggage too. Every little comment like this, they know what it is. When you say, well, I think they're all winning teammates, Grossi said, I see the same thing with Gabriel. And you talk about spinning the ball. No one out there spins it as well as Gabriel. You're telling on yourself. Joe Flacco's arm been better than his since he was born. You come on, dog. I mean, actually mechanically spinning a spiral into a receiver's hands, he's better at that. So I think it's just more false hysteria. Shedeur's doing fine. He's getting better, but he's not the only one getting better. At the end of the day, it's going to get harder and harder and more difficult to move that goalpost. It'll be an albatross after a while. You'll have to start dragging it. Because right now, my question is, if everybody was doing the same, where are those Kenny Pickett highlights? I'll wait. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. And that is the rest of the story. Shout out to Paul Harvey. We'll come back and give you the rest of the story here a little bit later. With that being said, we're going to keep it rolling. I told you, this is one of them episodes where you're going to want to stay the whole time. Don't play around. Don't play around. We're here the whole time. We're going to cook the whole time. Coming up next, let's talk about this Arch Manning elephant in the room. You heard it here first. You're listening to Ultimate Browns. Today's episode is brought to you by Buckeye State Credit Union. If you are unfamiliar with them, let me introduce you to a financial friend you didn't know you needed until now. Buckeye State Credit Union is a local brand that offers a wide range of products from savings accounts to mortgages and auto loans. They have some of the lowest rates around and committed to serving Northeast Ohio. The Cleveland location is in Shaker Heights, but there are 5 brick-and-mortar locations across the state. Basically, Buckeye State Credit Union is here to help you and make your life a little bit easier. They make banking more convenient, always putting the customers first, so that you leave feeling cared for, valued, and respected. At Buckeye State Credit Union, our core values are what set us apart. Connect, simplify, and adapt. These values make Buckeye Credit Union the right choice for you. For more information, head to buckeyecu.com. For more information, that's a Buckeye State Credit Union, your money simplified. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in sports. I'm going to tell you right now, we probably go overtime on this one. With fastest 30 minutes, Ultimate Browns, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Happy Juneteenth coming up. Don't remember, no UCSS on Thursday. Juneteenth, we will be back. Regularly scheduled on Friday, though, we will be back. Make sure you check out the Barbershop coming up on Saturday as well. Was off on this Saturday, but we'll be back ready to go. And want to say happy and congratulations, rather, to Sarah and Dustin Fox. Attended their wedding. Beautiful wedding. Glad for those two guys. Congratulations, and I hope you guys have a great, happy rest of your life together. And we want to say thank you for having us at the wedding. Let's get back to it. Let's talk about this. One of the things I've been looking at a long time is, this parallel. And one of the things that I want to make sure people are aware of, and just to break this down, is that we're on to you. We know what it is. No fooling nobody over here. One of the things that we talked about with these goalposts being moved, and how I've been talking about, it's going to be harder and harder for you to not put Shedeur Sanders on the field. I'm going to just be clear what I think. I've always said from day one, I don't think that the Cleveland Browns were planning on taking Shedeur Sanders. I think they took Dillon Gabriel as a way to say, look, we took a quarterback in the third round. We have two other veteran quarterbacks in Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. We'll roll the dice, figure out what we got with that. We got another draft pick next year. We could take somebody next year at the top of the draft that we're comfortable with. And that was, I believe, what they were going to do. There was a wrench thrown in the plan because someone, either in the analytics department or talent evaluation, or the owners, just said, listen, there's no way we're going to pass on him this many times. Took him in the fifth round. What that did is that put in place a conflict of interest. It put a conundrum. You drafted somebody in the third round. Yes, you might have said, we like Dillon Gabriel. But if you take Dillon Gabriel and you plan on playing Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, I mean, whatever he does, he's a third round pick, not too high of a pick, somebody you liked. You have no problems going into next year's draft, drafting a quarterback if you are losing. We've talked to a lot of people, and they talk to people, Jason Lord has said this previously on multiple platforms. So it's not about next year or this year. It's about getting to the dome. Well, let me give you the roadmap and how I see this. The problem is this. You now have Shedeur Sanders, and you know it's going to be difficult to not put him on the field. The problem is, if you put him on the field, what happens if he's actually good? Now, you would say, that's a great thing, G. Bush. You found your franchise quarterback in the fifth round. Is it necessarily? If you didn't plan on taking a quarterback in this draft that you thought was going to be your franchise guy? See, there's a lot of people that say it, and I'm going to say it aloud. It isn't about whether it's Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, or Shedeur Sanders versus, Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. It's Shedeur Sanders versus a guy like Arch Manning. Because here's the elephant in the room. When you ask somebody, oh, well, they got the 2 first-round draft picks, and next year is going to be a better draft class. Always ask people, make them say what it is. And when I say make them say what it is, I mean make them say which quarterback they like and why. Who you like? Shedeur Sanders from South Carolina? You like Nussmeier from LSU? You like Arch Manning from Texas? Who you like? Who's your guy that you saw last year that was dominating, that is better than Shedeur Sanders or anybody in Cam Ward in this draft? Oh, so they did play at the same time, and you didn't really notice anything. Drew Aller, I watched him multiple times here in Ohio. He played against Ohio State, and I saw him in Penn State. I saw him can't deliver the ball against Notre Dame. They couldn't buy a pass. Make them say which guy was tearing the game up so much that the Browns deserve to tank to get them. Let me give you a heads up in the history on tanking. Last year at this time, Quinn Ewers was a top first-round pick. I don't know where he is. Carson Beck from Georgia was a first-round draft pick. Don't know where he is. I can tell you about Jake Locker. I can tell you about Blaine Gabbert. I can tell you about Matt Leinart. I can tell you about every single guy that they said we're going to tank for to get, and what happened to that person. Now, the problem you have here is this. The narrative is this. Well, if the door isn't ready, don't rush those guys out there. Don't rush them and ruin them. Let them sit until week 10, 11, or 12. Give them an opportunity to succeed. Stop the games, people. You don't think we understand what's going on? So let me get this straight. So you play Pickett 6 games, you bad. You play Joe Flacco another 6, that's 12. You say Dylan Gabriel, we'll give you 3 chances, that's 15. And Shedeur gets to play, what, 3, 4 games tops? Now, in those 4 games tops, how much information are you going to gain from Shedeur Sanders actually playing those 4 games? Probably not enough to make a decision on whether or not you're going to draft a quarterback the next year. See, that's where it is. The conundrum is now we can't say he can't outright play. We can't say that because we've been seeing that. We also can't say, well, he's going to do something to disqualify himself because we've seen his interviews. We see what he is. He's not really a head case. He's none of that. We can't even use his dad because his dad really don't say nothing. He's actually a coach and he's doing his own thing. So now it's let's save him because he quite isn't ready. I know those 7 or 8 offensive coordinators that he had, those even though you had Pat Shermer as your coordinator, that he might not just understand what's going on. We don't want to put him out there. So let's save him. So you're going to save him and you're going to play him to win. Then you get to next year, you get to a situation, and guess what people are talking about? Well, the Browns, if Shedeur was ready to play, he would have been playing earlier than that. If the Browns would have felt that Shedeur gave him an opportunity to win, evidently they didn't feel that way. Evidently, see, he couldn't get on the field. But before it's, let's just pump the brakes because we don't want to hurt his projection. We don't want to hurt his development. And I ask you, I say, okay, well, what if Shedeur don't play the whole season? What if he don't play the whole season? What if Joe Flacco has a miraculous season? He's balling. Browns make the playoffs. They don't see Shedeur Sanders. They said, we can't put you in because Joe Flacco is balling right now. Team is doing well. He's on a 1-year deal. Is it possible that they could see Shedeur as a franchise quarterback, even though he didn't play this year? No. If he doesn't play this year, they're going to draft the quarterback next year. So what is he? You don't want to play him now to hurt his future, but if he doesn't play, he don't have a future? Make it make sense, people. See, the stall tactics is cute. We can see it coming from a mile away, though. If you stall, and even if he plays at the end of the season, you give yourself an opportunity to say, we just didn't have enough opportunities to see him. We didn't have enough chances to really see what he can do. And I think you can't pass up when this generational type quarterback said, oh, here you are, Arch Manny, come on in. And guarantee, if they got him, they'd be talking about him starting day 1. All the distraction stuff that they talked about with Coach Prime, that becomes an added bonus with the Mannings. You don't believe me? Let's go ahead and talk about it. I told you I was cooking. I got the receipts. I might want to, this is why you can't do nothing. We can't have nothing nice. Now watch this. We've talked about this a little bit. Let's throw this up here. Deion Sanders was a Hall of Fame quarterback, talking the talk and walking the walk, and he locked down on receivers for more than a decade. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Colorado's coach, fourth of 5 children and third son, has received a lot of flack for living a similar lifestyle and using his play on the field and backing it up with his confidence off of it. Much of the heat the younger Shedeur Sanders has received as a product of social media era and the prime brand surrounding the family. Several teammates and former players who have known Sanders have spoken out about the unfair criticism he takes, including ex-Cincinnati Bengal Chad Ochocinco Johnson. He goes on to say Johnson, an exuberant NFL player in his own right, discussed the topic on his Hall of Fame tight end with his Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharp's Nightcap YouTube show on Sunday night. The former wide receiver said that most of the people who hate on Sanders' flashiness are from the older generations rather than young NFL fans who love personalities of their favorite players. Yes, some of the hate does come from his father, but also some of the hate is going to come down to him and what he's been able to accomplish so far, Johnson said. What people mistake as arrogance or cockiness, which is merely confidence, some people just don't like that. Some people want you to be humble. They want you to dim your light because it makes them uncomfortable. Well, let's talk about the comfort level that people had all the time. This is the level of comfort that people have had for well over 30 or 40 years. Let's take a look at this, because I think this all ties in. Because I'm going to watch how this works. Now, we just got done talking about Arch Manning. And by the way, people are talking about losing games to get Arch Manning. Let that sink in, and he's played 2 games. 2. Yeah, not 20, not 4 years, not a whole season, not 6 games, not even conference games. He's played 2 games. And people are telling me that we should lose every single game just to draft him number 1. Now, if memory serves me correct, the saying goes, if you take the name off the back of Shedeur's jersey, where would he be drafted? What? I mean, after 2 games, I think that has to apply to all. You see what? See. Okay. Now, for all of Coach Prime's flashiness, for all of his, they don't like Prime, screwed him up. Prime rubbed them in the wrong way. Prime did this, Prime did that, Prime did. Eli Manning finally reveals why he refused to play for the Chargers after they took him with the top pick in 2004. Now, let me get this right. For what they even thought in insinuating Prime was saying, for what they even thought that he would jump and even insinuated that he would choose where Shedeur went. That slid him to the 5th round. It looked like it worked and was rewarded right here when Eli pulled it. It looked like it was celebrated when Eli actually did it. How you mad at somebody for even insinuating or reading into that he might even think about doing it, but the person who actually did it, we hear nothing from that. We see no. Well, I got the article. I just went, 2004 is a long time ago. 20 years is a lot. A lot of things happen in 20 years. Maybe we need to remind people. This is how it went down. Let's go ahead and throw this up here. It's been 17 years since the Chargers made Eli Manning the number 1 pick in the 2004 draft. And to this day, the 2-time Super Bowl winner has really never explained why he didn't want to play for them. But that changed this week during the interview on the 10 Questions with Kyle Brandt podcast. He's been on the show in UCSS. Eli finally revealed why he refused to play for the Chargers, who were located in San Diego. It was a decision having talked with my agent, coaches, general manager, and owners, Manning said. Going through the draft process, I was just worried about the Chargers organization at the time. I felt it was the right decision, and I had a little pull. I quietly tried to say, hey, please don't draft me. It can be our secret, and they didn't keep it a secret, their secret part very well. At the time, Manning was represented by Tom Condon, who was represented by Chargers coach at the time, Marty Schottenheimer. The quarterback at the time, Drew Brees, and the team star running back LaDainian Tomlinson. So Condon likely had a good feeling of how Manning would have fit in. Back in 2004, the Chargers also were gaining reputation as a place young quarterbacks should avoid. Drew Brees had a rough first 2 seasons in San Diego, and that came shortly after the team's debacle with Ryan Leaf, who was the number 2 overall pick in 1998 draft. So let me get this right. All this Prime talking, what Prime did and how Prime moved, and he did his son a disservice, but yeah, I guess this thing happens in real life. Oh, it happened 20 years ago? Oh, by the way, talk about Prime standing up for Shedeur Sanders. Let's talk about what he says about his father, Eli Manning, and his dad. It wasn't my dad. He was trying to take the heat off me. He knew I was going to get criticized, Eli said, told Brandt. After that, the Chargers turned it around. They got Sean Merriman. Drew Brees started playing great, and the Phillip Rivers started playing great. Then went to the AFC Championship games. They made a lot of playoffs to turn things around. The 2004 draft ended up being one of the most dramatic ones in NFL history. Just days before, Manning's agent Condon told the Chargers that Eli would sit out the entire 2004 season if the team drafted him with the first overall pick. The Chargers ended up ignoring the threat, and they decided to take Eli at the top of the pick anyway. Although Manning would get traded to the Giants less than an hour later, he did end up posing for what it will likely go down as the most awkward draft day photo of all time in NFL history. Now, let me just say this. For someone whose family actually did this, I think it's quite funny that people are willing to lose all their games to take Arch Manning. Don't you find that strange? He actually decided he was not going to play. But this is the problem that I have. The narrative that Deion did this and Deion did that. Listen, I wouldn't even say it's even a hypocrisy. It's at the highest levels. Because the reason the people are willing to do things and even insinuate things for other quarterbacks and other people, it's wild. See, the longer Shedeur sits, it gives you a little time. Right now, you can't say, I'd rather take all my games and go get Arch Manning. You can't say that. You know why? Because you would lose credibility. He's played 2 games, and how are you going to say he's better right now, and you're willing to forfeit this season and watch the Browns play and not give Shedeur Sanders the opportunity to play just to get Arch Manning on a hope or a dream, and you don't even know he's good? There's no way you can say that. But here's what you can do. Say Shedeur don't play till week 10, 11, 12. Guess what? Last time I checked, the NCAA coincides, right? They run concurrently. Now you get about 4 or 5 games of seeing Arch Manning ball, right? Oh, he played Austin Peay. It was cold. Browns lose a game. Kenny Pickett throw 2 picks. He playing South Carolina State. He's balling again. The more and more you get an opportunity, you get leeway, you get time. Now all of a sudden, the way too early mock drafts are coming around. And guess who's at the top of the board? See, I can extrapolate this out a long way. Stalling does you no good. Because like Ochocinco said, it gets too loud. That is the reason they didn't want to draft Shedeur Sanders, because guess what? It's hard to really punt on seasons and you got somebody sitting on a bench that's that popular. It just don't work that way. Browns will find out the easy way or the hard way. Hopefully, in my opinion, he should play sooner rather than later. Told you I was cooking. Put it in the comment section. If you think I'm crazy, just tell me I'm crazy. Put it in the comment section. I'm willing to have a conversation with you, but I'm telling you right now, the Arch Manning elephant in the room is alive and well. We'll continue on down the tracks. Coming up next, tell me about this magical resume Kenny Pickett got. I'm confused. I ain't seen it. Maybe y'all can let me see. Let me know where I missed it at. We'll come back and talk about right here on Ultimate Browns. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how action unfolds? How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. One more segment to go right here on the Ultimate Browns. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button, and make sure you turn the notifications on so you know when we are going live. We ain't gonna waste no time. Ready to go. Let's get to this conversation. And I've been trying to figure it out for a little bit here. Since Kenny Pickett has gotten into town, there's been this fascination with him being the odds-on favorite to start. Now, look, here's why I got a kind of an issue with it, because this irks me a little bit, because we don't do any questioning. We think it's harmless when we throw it out like that. Oh, it's harmless. It's just Kenny Pickett. He's a veteran, whatever. He'll get it done. Let me ask you a question. What resume has this man ever had to make him the odds on anything? Where's the resume? Where's the throws? Where's the highlights? Where are all these spectacular jaw-dropping plays that he makes him the incumbent? At least if you're a Joe Flacco fan, you can squint real hard and say, listen, Joe Flacco, I seen him here. He led the team to the playoffs when we was looking terrible. He came off the couch throwing for 300. You can also say he's a Super Bowl winning champion as a starting quarterback. He's still got a crazy arm. Where's the resume for Kenny Pickett? It's almost as if they hand out a script, and it's like one of them Hollywood scripts where they're like, here's what we're going to do. Here you go. This is the copy. Let me send this. CC all media outlets. It is today, here on 4th, we are told by the decree of the King of Berea, Kenny Pickett and all the rights deemed necessary shall be therefore given first rights of refusal to the starting quarterback, keys to the kingdom, and Lord of the Reach, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and 3 Valyrian swords, and 6 dragons, and 7,000 unsullied and second sons. Those rights are deemed to Sir Kenny Pickett. That's how easy it was. He had to make no throws. He had to win all the games. He just showed up, traded 5th round pick. I'm the dude. I don't get it. I don't understand. By the way, let me ask you this question. I'm willing to have the dialogue with everybody out there. If you're going to say, mind you, I'm not even saying this about Dylan Gabriel, because I think Dylan Gabriel is better than Pickett. I'm not saying Pickett can't compete, but the reason you're getting pushed back from G. Bush right now is you've given him the 7 kingdoms. He didn't even have to fight no White Walkers. What? Even Jon Snow had to go on the wall. What? What are you? They just came in the Western. They just came in the Western Westeros and just here you go. He's coming in. Hey. One of the Baratheons won more wars than Pickett. What are we basing this off of? It's just wild to me. Everybody had to fight wars back then. He just walked right on in. Yeah, I'll take this. I'll take the veil. We'll take that. I'm looking for, and by the way, I've seen highlights from Flacco on deep balls. I've seen highlights from Dylan Gabriel. I've seen the most highlights from Shedeur Sanders. Where are the Kenny Pickett highlights? I see none. I'm not even seeing checkdowns. Where are the Kenny Pickett highlights? Where I'm looking at the stats, I'm like, dang, where's your touchdowns at, fam? Where they at? I'm saying, okay, well, let me go back to Pittsburgh. I think it's funny because go back and rewind the tape when people here was going against Kenny Pickett. We're like, oh, this is about to be this barbecue chicken. Kenny Pickett today, I think he lost to DTR. We couldn't even throw the ball that game. I think DTR beat him. Not saying that he doesn't have an opportunity to go out there, and if Kenny Pickett somehow in the first preseason game is cooking, I'll say he's cooking. But all I'm saying, bro, where is the resume? Where are all these wins, these touchdowns, this fourth quarter magic, the big time throws? If you working, think about this. If Shedeur Sanders is balling with the fours, that means we need some more. If Kenny Pickett is with the ones and ain't getting it done, you're supposed to be 20 or 20. You got Judy out there. I need you 18 or 23 touchdowns. You out there with Njoku, the first team line, all that good stuff. Why is you balling? It go both ways, people. Yeah, you're supposed to infinitely be better if you are a guy that playing with the threes and fours. At least you dominate when you are. But if you playing with the ones and then you ain't getting it done, I'm not seeing no highlights. I'm not seeing no crazy throws. And the crazy part about it is no one's even really talking about him. They say more about Dillon Gabriel than him. And it's think about it. It's days Joe Flacco be on ice. Nah, Joe, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it, Joe. Go over there, chill. Yeah, go over there, chill, dog. Shut it down. Yeah, we already know you know the blitz pickup. We know you know the coverage. Chill out. Don't even need none today, Joe. Matter of fact, you just stay inside. You just chill out inside. Yeah, watch it from the security cameras. Watch the security footage. We don't even need you watching no regular film. You getting all them reps and you ain't balling? That's like saying LeBron or Kobe ain't getting he ain't balling on them first. Do you know how much LeBron is? Do you know how much people is eating? Joe Burrow eats. All of them. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they're eating on all their first units. Why is it that we keep talking about these first team reps that people is getting that other than Shedeur Sanders, and we've seen no dividends from it? No dividend. When you ask people, always ask them. You say, G. Bush, you this is why you're just too emotional. Y'all not logical enough. Just because somebody tell you a lie in a straight face with a monotone voice don't mean that it still wasn't no lie. Ask them folks. Well, listen, if you feel like he's the odds-on favorite to start, where are you getting that from? What skill set, what trait, what resume, what background, what plays are you seeing made on a day in, day out basis that make it that he's the guy? Anybody can have an affinity to somebody. Anybody can say, well, I just like the way he walks, or seems like a good guy, but what throws have you seen? There's nobody writing about his throws right now. Right now, if you ask anybody, Joe Flacco probably is the odds-on favorite to start. Shedeur Sanders, by far, is the second best quarterback in camp. By far. It's not even close. And Dillon Gabriel was even smoking Pickett. Even the people that want Shedeur Sanders to start is saying that, yeah, Shedeur, but Dillon Gabriel's smoking him. Even the people that like Shedeur say that. Even the Flacco people's like, yeah, but Pickett, I don't understand it. It's like almost like the memo went out and he's the hand of the king now. I'm confused, man. I'm just hand it over. But this is what happens, man. And before I get out here, I'm gonna just let you know, this is what happens when you lose a lot. When you be taking L's a lot, you got a long time. You ever somebody put you in solitary confinement? when they put you in solitary confinement and you are in the purgatory and you don't get to hang around the other people, the other good teams or the other NFL people, or you don't get to hang around none of them, you start to just be in a hole with just making up, turning the circles in your head. And then they let you out. And then you get around, you say, man, I want to go back to the hole. Why? Because you conditioned to the hole. You done been in there so long, the only friend you got is in your mind. So now when you see good quarterbacks or you see real quarterbacks or you have some competition, you can't tell which is which. People keep saying, why is it that can't nobody in Cleveland give you a fair, why is it that it's all over the place? It's this guy was good, but that guy ain't no good, but this guy, but I think it's Shedeur, Dylan look better. It's because when you in the dark for so long, everything, when you get out, seems to be too bright. You can't even tell which is which. Your vision is blurry. You don't know which way you're going. You're looking around. You're stumbling on yourself. You're nervous around people. You think somebody about to get you. You're paranoid. You can't call it straight. You don't understand what's going on. You're like, dang, this is a whole new world out here. Well, that's what happens when you're in the dark for 30 plus years with no light. 30 plus years looking for a quarterback. If one tripped and fell in front of your face, you wouldn't know what it looked like. What's the problem? Maybe I'm wrong too. Who knows? But at least I'm willing to say it loudly. With that being said, you never know where G. Bush might show up. Radio, TV, internet, it is what it is. If you want the fresh cut, if you want the real cut, if you just want somebody to talk, you can find a lot of people out there. But if you want that real cut on sports, you know where to go. The Barbershop is here. The Barbershop is here. Ultimate Browns is here. We do it everywhere. Browns Unlocked is here. If you want the real deal, you know where to find me. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend or week. And as most importantly, I know I don't like some other people. Go Browns.